What's up, Gooners? Today's starting topic is 17 or septendecuple or septenduple level split screen gooning. That sure was a mouthful. Not in that way. When I had only two monitors, I used to have TikTok and or Instagram up with three different tabs open because they were like vertical and three of them could fit on one screen. With a bit of maneuvering, you could even fit four. Specifically, what I would do, which I've said in one of my past videos, is goon to soft core goon material. On those like, OF models, if you know what I mean. Like it's just soft core, but I mean, hey, I like soft core every once in a while. I'm sure we can all relate. I haven't done it in a while because like I'm not too into it, but when I could just use GoonHub or NHentai or Hitomi.la or Rule34.xxx or Cornhuas. There's a lot of options, or like smut novels. Like there's a lot of other options before, but I mean, other than soft core. But with my quadruple monitor gooning setup, and with an extra bit of maneuvering, maybe include my drawing tablet. So that's like five monitors. And if I also include like a mini view that you can do on TikTok. I don't know about Instagram, but TikTok for sure. That's what I would do at least, or I've done. I could have potentially up to 17 different reels and TikTok videos or whatever they're called up at the same time. So like three split and then one mini view on the main monitor, or because my main monitor, I dropped like 430 clams on it, including tags, because it's an OLED. I could potentially probably fit, now that I'm thinking about it, uh, four like split screens and the mini view on top of that, like in the corner or something, and then three split on my upper monitor, right monitor, and drawing tablet, and then I would like have something to hold up the drawing tablet, because I don't want to like it to be flat. That would be uncomfortable when I'm gooning, like as my lower monitor, like right below my main monitor. Anyway, and then four split into like a cross section type of way on my left vertical monitor, thereby achieving not only 17 correct. Let me make a correction, 18 or whatever the number is, level split screen gooning. You, yes, you can be proud to know and be the first in your bloodline seeing another grown ass man achieve gooning levels unheard of since time began. All right, for my long-term viewers here, I know this is a different video since I'm at like actually drawing like a whole, full body thing, and it's also the longest video I've ever made, and it probably won't be the longest video that I will ever make because this is just like without the coloring, because I don't color in this because I haven't learned how to draw, I mean color. I haven't learned how to shade either. If I do that, which I'm going to need to do at some point, it's going to take even longer, perhaps 2 hours or maybe even three. I don't know how long, it could be however long. So for now, even though it's the longest, it's not for sure that it will be the longest in the future as well. And the biggest problem I just realized as I'm making this is I don't actually know like how I'm going to keep yapping for an hour straight. An hour, it's in my strike zone. I can yap for an hour, okay? I have on my notepad on my left vertical monitor, I can just talk about what I wrote. The problem is long term, like, yeah, it's just one hour video. But if it's like a 3 hour video, and then on top of that, like another 3 hour video, I don't think I can yap about different things without repeating myself too much two times in a row for 3 hours. Like I would eventually run out of stuff to write. Like for now, I have a lot that's stocked up on my notes pad, right? That's cool and all, but I'm just gonna run out. I'm just gonna have nothing left. All right, let me go on another line on my notepad here. So I have a GoonHub account. I don't know if you guys are like if you guys also do an account like on N-Hentai, I also have an account. The only ones that I don't really have an account on are Hitomi.la, Hanime.tv. I don't really even know if that hentai site even has like a login available for Hanime. Hitomi.la, I think has one. Rule 34, funny story. I tried to make a Rule 34 account, like I'd say half a year ago, I think is, yeah, I think half a year ago. The problem is, it is so fucking hard, not me, to make an account in Rule 34 that I just don't do it, even though it'd be super useful. Because what I would do when I was younger, uh, is I would save the pictures so that because where I was living at the time had like bad internet and like my like in the same neighborhood that I was in, this owner he's far away, still in the same block, but he's on like on the opposite side of the block, right? This guy's dog would like bite the cable for the internet, and I would like have no internet like every single maybe other month. Every other month, I would just have no internet. And this guy's fuck ass dog, it's like I don't. You'd think that after the second or even third time that he would do something to like prevent it, but no. Like it just kept on happening. So, that sucks. So what I would do is I would download these images or videos on the images, on the photos like program app that's built into the a Chromebook, by the way. This was back when I didn't even have a PC. I was using like a Chromebook, a Chrome laptop to do this, an HP laptop. And not sponsored, by the way, because yeah, I just had to say that. And that's what I used to do. And I think I ran out of storage space at one point because I downloaded so many images and videos. So after that, I deleted it all because I realized that it's probably unhealthy to have that amount of images and videos that it takes up all my space. Now, keep in mind, it is an HP laptop, right? It's like a cheap Chromebook. So it's not gonna have that much storage to begin with. But either way, even if it's not as much, right? It's still like a shitload for me as a miner to have on a Chromebook or Chrome, was it Chromebook? Yeah, on a Chromebook. So yeah, when I was younger, I was a freaky ass gooner. All right, another line on my notepad here. Uh, you know how, well, for me personally, after nutting, it's really annoying. I'm still hard. I don't know about others. Of course I would. Well, no. Looking at GoonHub, according to my analysis, according to they're also kind of hard. So I guess it's not like a me thing only. So I mean, because at least it wears off while I have the fan blow my ass. Pause to like dry off my butt sweat. I think I've said this in one of my other videos. Actually, I might not have. Basically, when I'm gooning, right? When I'm like in a gooning session, like not like that short 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or even half an hour, like for 1 hour at least to like 2, 3 hours. And in that 1 to 3 hours, I don't nut just once. I nut at least twice and maybe sometimes even 3 times. But that would require me, I'd say 5 hour gooning session. And what happens in that 5 hour gooning session is that I'll be sweating up a storm. Now, I don't have hyperhidrosis. For those of you who don't know, hyperhidrosis is when you sweat a shitload, right? I don't have that, but I have like a minor case of it. So I would say I sweat more than the average person. So like sweat is flying everywhere. I'm gooning, right? And I'm moving because I want to fully immerse myself. I want to immerse myself in the goon. So I'll I won't bob my head like a rock and roll like that. I won't do it that hard, but I'll move like a little bit, or at least especially my arms at the very least, my arms are getting a workout with how hard I'm gooning, okay? Now, I don't have like a 7-inch Cocker Spaniel, okay? But it's it's not like a micro either, you know? I joke about it, but I don't actually have a micro. So it's still like if I really wanted to, like I could give I could add a little bit of length to my hand, if you will. Like I just want to reiterate this. I don't have a big dick either. I just have an average size Cocker Spaniel. So what I would do is I would like you know when you're gooning, well, for me at least, I guess I don't really know about others. For me when I'm jacking off, right? When I'm beating my chicken, I'll usually like lay my elbow at rest on the chair armrest, and then I'll just use my forearm and I won't include like the upper arm like above my elbow. But when I'm really getting into it like like in the middle of the gooning session. Maybe I'm like 30, no, not even 30, like an hour in, right? My forearms are getting tired and like I can't use both forearms because I already switched arms both times. Oh, by the way, I did learn how to goon with both arms. I'll get that I'll get to that later. But basically, after like getting tired, maybe like I said an hour, I'll start using my entire arm. And instead of moving my forearm, I will stop moving my forearm and I will just continue to use my upper arm instead. So instead of only having, let's say, the forearm, both forearms for like to switch, I can switch between the upper arm as well. So that's like 4 different kinds. But that's not all, okay? If I really wanted to. And I don't like to do this because it kind of hurts my wrist after a while. I could also use just the hand, you know, like you know, when you're moving your mouse, let's say you play an FPS game or whatever, and you only use your wrist for a little bit. That's what I do sometimes. But like I said, I don't like to use it too much because I might get like carpal tunnel or something from gooning. Do you know how embarrassing that would be if I had to go to the doctor and then I have to explain that I got carpal tunnel because I was gooning too hard? Thankfully, that never happened to me. But that's because I like watch out for it. And even if it did, I'm pretty sure I can just lie anyway and just say it was because like I was I was playing FPS games too hard or something. I don't know. Anyways, back to the forearm gooning, right? I was like, wait, what was I talking about? I think it was yeah, with 6. I was sweating a bunch. All right, I forgot. I'm just gonna gloss over it. I do want to do all this in one go after all. Well, not one go. I've re-edited this, but that's not the point. All right, another one on my notepad here. Right. I remember seeing somewhere that two of the most attractive hobbies, or somewhere around that, was drawing and reading. But the problem is that for drawing, I draw corn, which becomes degenerate in my hands. And for reading, it's not like I read actual like informational books or educational books. I've read novels and even smut sometimes. So that's also just not something that would be attractive. I'm like a degenerifier, if you will. Anything that passes through my hands, I somehow manage to make it degenerate. I call it the goon brain. That's not to say I haven't actually read like educational books at all. Like aside from like the school, you know, like the Hummingbird or like Fahrenheit 714 or whatever it's called, which I like read like maybe a fourth or a third of the way through. And then I was like, screw this and just skim read or didn't even skim read. I just like skipped a bunch of pages, read one page of one chapter, and I just said, fuck it, we ball. And of course, you know, I passed, but I got a low grade. But hey, if getting a low grade is what it takes to not have to read those shitty booty ass books, I'm all for it. Anyways, as I was saying, I have actually read 2 educational books or information or like actual like books that would, I don't know, help change your life in a meaningful, positive way. And I specifically the 2 that I remember currently right now are the 48 or 50 Laws of Power or whatever it's called, and the Seduction variant by Robert Greene. I think I was like 16, 15 at the time. And like I the seduction variant specifically, it was just because I wanted to get some bitches, which I failed at miserably. Anyway, yeah. By the way, I think Robert Greene is his name. I know what the fuck am I reading, right? But like, I went through an alpha male phase. Embarrassingly enough, this was like 14, 15, 16. No, not even 16. I think it was 14. Yeah, I'd say 14, 15 was when I went through that phase. But it wasn't all bad because I did pick and choose some things that I should have had. Like, for example, I should have had some self worth, some self dignity, or whatever. However, mine is warped because it all leads to gooning. Like, for others, like, they increase their self worth by, like, working out or, like, just like living a meaningful life. I I just goon. So, yeah. There's this thing called love brain in novels where like they become dumb because of love. It's like I think it's also partly because of like heaven's will. I would say that I like to say that I have the goon brain in which everything I see is well about gooning. All right, another one. Right. So I was like in the middle of drawing this like cuz I had to sleep because I didn't want to do this whole drawing in one go because if I'm tired I was worried that it would mess with my thought process, which would like ruin the quality of the drawing even just a tiny bit. So that's why I went to sleep and then I woke up and all that. Well, before I go to sleep, I make sure to well beat my meat, right? And I saw a video on GoonHub about a guy having relations with a plushie. I had to do a double, no, a triple take. I'm not joking. You might have seen it too if you also gooned at the same time I did. This guy, he, he, it was like a little ball plushie. It was, like one of those Kirby plushies. It wasn't Kirby specifically, but it was like one of those types of plushies. And he fucked the shit out of that thing. So I mean that's I saw that. Did I goon to that? No, because I mean I thought it was hilarious. I went to the comments. The comments I don't think there were any comments, or even if there were, no, I do remember there were 3 comments. I think it was 2 comments and then 1 reply. All 3 of them were in Russian. I think it's because I was using a VPN though. Actually, it was probably because I was using a VPN, which I mean, honestly, I'm glad because I don't want to see what the comments say, but I kind of do at the same time because they might be hilarious or they might just be like downright atrocious. Right. So I showered. I know, right? I took my yearly shower, and I realized. Well, no, I realized this a long time ago back in like yeah, and like early, I think when I was a freshman, I was like out of the shower. If you clench your butt cheeks or like no, you clench your cocker spaniel, you can simulate having a saggy ball sack because like your balls go up, right? And then like but like the skin stays down, so it makes your balls seem very saggy. That was probably unnecessary, but I just felt like you guys like had to know that. Right, so a lot of time was just spent on finding reference images and thinking in the middle of the drawing process. Like I did cut them out, but a lot of the times, like because you can see in the video I when you just see pictures showing up out of nowhere, that's because I cut the parts or I just like stopped recording and then I started searching for reference images because I had a really hard time actually like visualizing what I'm drawing because I'm a beginner, so I had to like actually I couldn't do it sheerly from imagination, which I would like to do at some point, but for now I'll have to use like just a lot of reference images. Anyways, as I was saying, I had to personally do some certain poses to figure out how they work too, like the hands, which felt gay as fuck. Like not the Jacko pose, just like the hand position, like I just said, and a little bit of the face, a little of the feet too, like checking how my feet would which direction my toes go when I apply pressure to them. And I just have to reiterate this. I did not do the Jacko pose in front of the mirror to see what it would look like, okay? You might be wondering how I did the drawing if I didn't do the pose. I just used my imagination because I am not bending over for this. Okay. You couldn't pay me. Well, no, you could probably pay me to do this. I mean, $20 is $20. Anyway, while searching for the elbow placement refs, the reference images, I was searching on DeviantArt and Pinterest. By the way, Pinterest has like really great reference images, but for DeviantArt, it's like a mixed bag because I kept getting, like I said, for elbow placement reference images, I just searched up like elbow placement, I'm pretty sure, or just elbow down or elbow in DeviantArt, and I kept getting bondage or just straight corn. It's so weird that the elbow keyword is just naughty and dirty. Like I feel like DeviantArt is just straight porn because it does. Every time I search something up there, it's just a bunch of nude people. I feel like, and there's also like a bunch of AI too. So I except for like I think maybe one picture that I looked at, which I probably didn't even use. Most of these reference images that I looked at, most of them came from Pinterest. Also, another reason why this took longer than it needed to be was because I kept adding shit as I kept going, which inevitably made it longer. And the way I made it longer is, for example, on the eyes, I added a scar on the eye. Now that doesn't take as long. It's just adding like a couple of triangles, right? But that's not the only thing I did. It's like all these minor adjustments that I added that make it longer. Like for example, at first I was going to make the elbow placement like um in the same way, like mirrored basically. But what I ended up doing was I ended up just adding a middle finger because I just wanted to. And then I also, while like after all that, I was like, what if I applied pressure to the bottom of the eyelid so that it shows the like inner flesh part of the eyelid? And that actually took me quite a long time. I spent quite a long time figuring out how to draw a middle finger, and I kept like fingering myself. Pause. Like I kept making the middle finger to myself to see what it would look like drawn. I had a really hard time with that. At first, I was learning how to do a closed thumb on the index, which did end up working. I somehow managed to make it work. So you would think, oh, you stop it, right? Because you made it. No. In the middle of doing that, I was also searching for reference images. I saw a middle finger with the thumb out, and I was like, damn, that looks cool. So I just scrapped like 30 minutes of trying to draw the thumb, or not. Maybe that's like a bit of an exaggeration. Maybe 20 minutes of trying to draw the thumb like closed perfectly. And then I just scrapped it because I figured out that the thumb out looked cooler. However, because I was doing the thumb out and I'm like a beginner, I took like an egregious amount of time on just solely one thumb. I think at least 20 minutes on this thumb. It was ridiculous. But I think it's fine because I like the way it turned out. There's also the fingernails too. That's a bit of my like, I don't know what it's called, but it's just my design. I like to add fingernails because it's feminine, right? Especially long fingernails. So that's why I added it. I also just thought it looked cool. So there's that as well. What else did I add? Right. The the clothes, I didn't add clothes. So I did add like one, you'll see it at the end. I was thinking between a short skirt, like in the reference image with the pink-haired woman, and between booty shorts or dolphin shorts. But I ended up just going with the dolphin shorts because I feel like if I went with the short skirt, it'd be kind of just copying the reference image, which is not like totally wrong. But the whole point of this drawing is not only for me to enjoy the process of drawing such a thing, but it's also to learn while doing so. Like for example, why did I do a front-facing Jacko pose instead of the same Jacko pose from the reference image where they're like at a 2/3 angle or whatever angle that's called? Or why didn't I just mirror that and try to learn it that way like in all my other videos? I did this not because it was easier, even though I can understand that it seems easier, yes, because after all, it's not at an angle. I did this because I wanted to change the angle at which it seems, but also not in a way that's mirrored that would make it easier for myself. In addition to that, I also eventually you'll see later in the video, I increased the leg, or no, I decreased the butt height and increased the leg height or feet height because I figured that logically, right, with how I'm doing the elbow placements, it would make more sense if the equilibrium or like center point for the woman that I'm drawing was well more equal. I don't know how to describe it, but it's in my head, that's why I did it, because it made more sense. Also, for one of the reference images, you'll see the black haired face one. I wanted to do the eyes for that. I didn't care about the hair, lips, nose. I wanted to somehow make the eyes and put it onto the face that I was drawing. However, halfway through, I realized that I just completely forgot about it. Like, you would think that having the reference image right next to the face would, like, you know, not make you do that. Well, somehow, even though it's right in my face and then I'm like zoomed in too, I just forgot about it. So I just deleted it. And I just did like scarred face, and I want to add beauty marks as well. I have always like, for me personally, I prefer beauty marks. I think they look, well, I think they look sexy, and this may or may not have to do with the fact that I myself have a beauty mark, but that's besides the point. And then I also added way later, like near the end of the video, because I think because I took a break in between, like I was eating, and after that I gooned, and then I saw a comic on N Hentai. I saw like the titty mole, so I decided, yo, that looks cool. Let me do that. So I just added the mole on the boob as well. Um, right, for the pink-haired woman, if you're wondering for the sauce for that, it's called Foreigner in a Fantasy World, I think. And you have to also, I'll put the link down in the description. That's how it's on FUC, on fucknovelpia.com. I'm not even joking. That is the name. You would think that, well, I mean, I have no loyalty to the Novelpia global website to begin with, but it's pretty funny that that's the name. And I only read like, I mean, that's like the only legitimate official novel. I mean, it's pirated, but you know what I mean, that I read on that site because I couldn't find it anywhere else. And I've been wanting to read it, but I couldn't find a way to read it until now. I think for a few months, I'd say I've been wanting to read it, and it came up and I was like, yo, this is so cool. I mean, it didn't come up like naturally. I had to search it up because I saw the site while I was searching for new pirated sites or whatever. And I searched it up to see if it would show up. And what do you know, it did. So I thought it was super cool. That's what I used. However, a lot of like the top results, or no, I don't think that's the case actually. I was just searching for it myself. I was looking for smut, and it's got some pretty good smut. And specifically, the smut I would search for is obviously, as you know, if you've seen my other videos, it's incest. Yes, that's what I searched up. All right, another line on the notepad. I wonder what would it be like to do nude sketches, whether it be the person being drawn or the person drawing. Me personally, I'd probably be hard the entire time in both situations. I like being watched and watching. I'm versatile like that. The big question, which I'm sure you all are wondering, have I gooned to this drawing slash illustration? No. Even when searching up reference images and seeing nude bodies, especially on DeviantArt, DeviantArt just has so much corn even when I'm not searching for it. Very odd. I know I've already said this. I'm all for it though, you know. But it might also be because I was in flow state while drawing. I didn't get hard. That, I mean, that's like directly like the opposite or ironic of what I just said like one line ago, but nah, if you draw, you know what I mean. It's like when you're in that flow state, you can't get distracted. Problem is, I still can't goon to my own drawings, or at least this full body drawing. It didn't get me hard. Even when I look at it, rather than saying it invokes or evokes a certain type of feeling in me, it just I just think about how I could have made it look better. So being self-critical, not in a bad way, not like pessimistic or like um putting myself down. It's just like thinking about how I could improve said drawing. So, you know, hopefully that gets fixed as I get better at drawing, because I don't want to have a problem with that. I mean, I know Verena Easy, one of my commenters, said he likes gooning to his own drawings, but for me personally, I can't, which is just really annoying, but hopefully it'll get fixed once I get better at drawing. All right, another line. I remember this one anime I watched when I was a minor. It was Roka Braves of the, oh my god, let me repeat this. Roka Braves of the Six Flowers. I kept wondering when it was going to get a second season. I think this was back when I was like 12, 13. I was really young. And I kept searching for all throughout my life, I would say. Maybe 5 years in, 6 years in. Yeah, I'd say 6 years in. No, 5 years. 4 or 5 years in, maybe 16, 17. I finally found what happened to it, and it was just a quick search. Well, not really a quick search. I had to go through multiple sources because for some reason they made it like super hard, but it got canceled. So I looked at the comments on novel updates because I mean, you have to read it as a novel. And the comment said that, or the review, I should say, said that you should still read it even if it got canceled. I almost got convinced for like a split second, that is, you know, because I'm not reading a canceled novel unless I've already read it before it got canceled or axed or whatever it's called. Because I don't want to like, it's like when you're just about to climax and then you just don't, and then you just stop, right? That's what canceling a novel is like. So why would I willingly put myself in that situation? Anyways, I just had to get that off my chest. Right. I had another problem, multiple problems during this Krita thing. You can also see in my recording, there's like these thin rectangular border lines that are like on there whenever I'm moving the reference images. I had to tab in and tab out every single goddamn time in order to like get it to disappear. So I like, while I'm like, you know, talking, I already made, or like after I finished editing this video, I already made a Clip Studio account, and I'm currently using the free trial 30-day version of said account for the Clip Studio because I just like, it pissed me off and annoyed me so much that in the middle of my immersion into drawing my goon material, right, that I kept getting these fuck ass gray lines or border lines that would get stuck and I have to tab in, tab out every time. The only problem is that because I like to have a separate window up at the same time so I can see my real time drawing on like the full screen while I'm zoomed in on the main window. The problem with Clip Studio is that you can have a separate window. It's just that the change only shows up after I take my pen off the screen, which it's not that big of a problem, but it's like a quality of life like adjustment that I'll have to get used to, which I would prefer not to. Also, another thing is I'm recording this video on Filmora 13. Yes, you heard that right, not 15 if you know about it. I bought it way back, so it's the old version. And every damn time I open it, it keeps advertising to me to get the 15 version or version 15. I've said no every time, but it just keeps showing up like an obnoxious pop-up ad. Of course, I still not gonna buy it because Filmora 13 works just fine. And for Clip Studio Paint, I mean, the thing's cheap. Even after the 30-day free trial, I'm probably going to continue using it, or I might switch to like another free trial thing, which I probably won't because I feel like that would be annoying to have to get used to it. Because, I mean, it's cheap. Clip Studio Paint, I think it was like $2 or something per month. So, I mean, I might as well, or like $27 a year, which is pretty cool. So I'll probably use that. All right, another line on the notepad. Uh, Another thing I watched when I was underaged, I watched a lot of porn now that I think about it when I was underage. But basically, I remember watching Monster Musume, like the Monster Girl harem anime. That's essentially what it is. That might also be why I like anthropology now, why I like it so much, why I'm into ponycorn, like, or maybe it has no correlation and innately I'm just I'm just uh I'm just an animal fucker. So yeah. Uh Another one. Right. So I wrote this down, I think in the middle of drawing, on the second day, because I finished this drawing in 2 days, which might not seem like a lot, but this is like I ate, I drew, I slept, I woke up, freshened up, drew, ate, draw, and then I had to mow the lawn. I like it's just every time I have free time, I don't do anything. But the second I start drawing, I start doing something productive, right? There's something for me to do. Like when it's just like I just whenever I'm drawing, I just want to be able to finish that drawing and then do whatever else out of that. For others, you might just say, why don't you just wait then? Well, for me personally, I don't like procrastinating, okay? Or at the very least, if it's something that I can do, then it's just in the back of my mind and it fucking bothers me so much. So in the middle of my drawing, I had to get up my fat ass and I had to mow the lawn. I was sweating. The problem is I didn't do the laundry either. So what I had to do was I mowed the lawn, right? Because it was in the back of my mind, like I said, it would bother me. And I was also washing clothes at the same time. But because I just started washing the clothes, it's not finished even after having mowed the lawn. So then I just sat down underneath like the ceiling fan. Nobody was home at the time, so I was in just my underwear. I was just standing and to like dry off from all the sweat from mowing the lawn because it was sunny where I am. Sunny as hell. And so I was sweating a lot, cooled off, and then washer's finally done. I put it in the dryer, and I still don't have a towel for me to like dry off with when I'm done showering. So what I had to do was I just waited. I went in my room. What I did was I have a small towel, like one of those ball washing towels. Well, I don't use or like hand washing towels. I had that in place of like a big towel while I'm washing them. So what I used that for is I put it on my chair and then I use that as like a like tissue or like large absorber, water absorber, so none of my like ass sweat gets on my chair, my mesh chair. And I just sat my butt on it and I had my fan at 3 speed, the max speed, so that I don't sweat too much. And I had my chair reclined so I don't get any of my disgusting sweat on my chair. It was annoying. So, and it just like ruins the flow because it's like when I'm like drawing and then I have to stop in the middle to do whatever. All right. Anyway, back to when I was underaged. I had a bread phase when I was underage. I one time ate moldy bread because I just like forgot about it or something. I didn't see it. After that, I stopped eating bread for a while. I enjoy eating bread now still, just not as much. Like whenever it's there, I can appreciate a good bread, plain. Nothing except the bread. No extra flavor, no meat, no like raisins on it, no chocolate bread, no, just like regular ass wheat bread, right? Uh Another thing is when I was younger, like I said, underage, way younger, like this is when I was like 11, 12 or 13 maybe, 13, 14, 11 to 14. That's a big range, but basically I didn't know how a microwave and plastic worked. I know, right? What a fucking dumbass. So what I did was I cooked the bread on like in a plastic container. And what happened essentially is, what do you know? The plastic container melted and I couldn't eat the bread. But even worse than not being able to eat that bread is the fact that the plastic smell was everywhere wherever I lived. It was so, I mean, if you've ever burned plastic, you know what that smells like. Now, luckily, nobody was home at the time, So, you know, nobody else smelled it, but I had to like, I don't even remember because it was so long ago, but I don't even know if I explained to my mom or if I just like glossed over it and hoped she didn't like find out. But yeah, I learned though. So I never put anything plastic in a microwave ever again. I had to learn my lesson, so to speak. Uh right, so right before recording this audio, I was searching up adult games. I haven't played adult games in a while, so I just really wanted to look at some adult games, and I found one that I really wanted to beat my Cocker Spaniel to. It was like a one or well, it was two particular ones, but it was like a they no, not even that. It's they're like pretty new, but I don't really care about that. What I would do is I would have gallery hacks and cheats because you know I'm not playing all that. Like having to go through like 1 hour of foreplay because I have to read through all the dialogue. Like I'm not doing all that, but I just and then I do read some of the dialogue in the like gallery cheat hack whatever, but I still skip like most of it cuz like I said, even if the dialogue is shorter, sometimes it's too long when I'm just trying to beat my meat, bro. Like I'm not trying to read an entire novel. If I want to do that, I'll just read a smut novel, dude. Like I'm not doing all that. Even when I'm reading a smut novel though, like smut novels still have like a certain pacing to them so that it's not like boring dialogue in the middle. For I don't know, these adult games, I think they need to up their dialogue options. But then again, it is a game and you're supposed to be immersed, which I understand. Maybe I'm just not the type of guy for it. That's probably it. Probably it. Yeah, while I was gooning too, I have to pause my gooning to go to my notepad on my side vertical monitor, which I posted a picture of on my posts because you know I gotta write the ideas down or else I'll forget them. Or sometimes whenever I'm in bed and I think about something, I take out my phone and then like I hand type it out on my phone on the notepad so that when I wake up in the morning I go on my PC, I can just type it out on my notepad so that I can look back on it for whenever I'm talking like this right now, like whenever I'm recording audio. Anyways, as I was saying, so I have to pause my gooning, go on the notepad, type all that out. And then another thing is that disturbs my gooning is sometimes these adult games, they're like hilarious. Like not in a necessarily a good way, but not in a bad way. It's just like they're so like sometimes they're just so outlandish. Like maybe the protagonist I'm playing as is like a full on creep, which like hey, I'm all for being a creep. Okay, you do whatever you want, but like they're like it's so unnecessarily creepy and just the guy is so down bad you just don't understand why he's the protagonist. And then so that's another thing that would disturb my goon is like I just stop gooning because I'm laughing too hard. um oh yeah, the game I was playing to put you onto some game here. I was playing Bubbles and Babes or Sisters. Bubbles and Babes or Bubbles and Sisters, an incest game. Shocker, I know. The other game was called Another Chance. I don't really like the title is explains itself kind of because he like turns back time or something. I don't know. Like I said, I just went straight to gallery. Like I'm not playing the game. But that game was just a warm-up goon. Speaking of warm-up goons, do you guys have like a separate like sauce or video that you use to warm up your Cocker Spaniel? For me personally, I do. Like I'll have one like maybe comic or just hentai or corn video and I'll just have that cuz it's not enough for me to like it's not worthy of my nut, okay? But it's enough to get me hard. So what I'll do is you know, I'll get hard to that video, I'll X out of it, and then I'll go into my main video, or for me specifically, 4 main videos. Because as you know, I do the quadruple monitor gooning setup, or like Your mom said. By the way, that's the commenter's name is your mom. I'm being dead ass. Uh, Goon Grid. So I'll probably just call it the Goon Grid from now on. And because it was my first time in a while playing adult games, well, I say playing, but I was more playing with myself than I was with the actual game. It was quite a good experience. All right, another line on the notepad. Have you heard of semen retention? Well, what about semen extraction? When people are saying that they got girls or looked better after abstaining from gooning, I tried and failed in like 1 or 2 days. Surprise, surprise, right? But for me personally, I've always thought I looked better right after gooning. It might be because of all the blood flow. Source is trust me, bro. So yeah. Now keep in mind that I'm an average looking guy, or at least I'd like to say I'm an average looking guy. I'd say I'm like a 5, from a scale of 1 to 10, right? So like a 6 after gooning. So what I'm trying to say is that instead of abstaining from gooning, you should goon right before a date. If you're even able to get one, then you'll look hotter. Or better yet, now that I'm thinking about it, just go to the date and then goon in the restroom, and then you'll look better while there. Or actually, I'm gonna one up myself here. Goon while you're on the date, as in concurrently talk to them while playing with your meat. I don't know how you would do this, but like maybe have like an auto stroker, like a mini auto striker or something, and have your pants be baggy, maybe. Like I would try this myself, but I can't even get to step one, which is getting a date to begin with. So yeah. So you should try this if you can, get a date. If like yeah, I just can't get a date for the life of me, so it's just not, it's not possible for me. But the person I'm talking about specifically, I mean, it could be any one of you viewers that watches this video that got this far. It's you, Verena Easy. I saw your comment that said you got a partner. Weird choice, a weird word choice, by the way. And why not just say girlfriend? Makes me think you got like a femboy and want to keep it on the down low or something. Anyway, you should definitely goon while on a date with your partner, or maybe a goon date in which you both goon and date. That's like tech and meta. Like like e relations and e-sex. What if you had like concurrently gooning dating? Uh yeah, I don't maybe you should try that. All right, let's see here. Another one. Another line on my notepad, guys. I've never watched Pokimane religiously or just ever, because I'm not a big Twitch fan. I just haven't really understood why you would watch like Twitch streamers. For me personally as well, it doesn't help the fact that I don't have a schedule, so maybe it's because of that as well. But what I would do is, even if I didn't watch Pokimane or like was one of those like, tier 3 subs, I did goon to the compilations, if you know what I mean. Like those compilations of her sitting up or bending over, which I mean, it's a pretty weird thing to say, but if I mean, it's me we're talking about, so I feel like it's not even that weird for me to say that, because I've said like much weirder things and out of pocket things. All right, let's see here. Right, I've actually watched, I think this was a couple, I'd say a year, 1 or 2 years ago, I watched Monogatari, and I think I got to the Bake Monogatari where like and spoiler alert here, the childhood friend of his two sisters, two twin sisters, turned into like a snake yokai or whatever. I actually really like the anime itself. I like the style that it gives off, the drawing, the illustrations. It just looks really trippy, but like in a good way. The problem is what I can't stand, like I said, with One Piece anime, same thing with Fairy Tail Bleach. I just absolutely hate the filler. It's not even necessarily that this anime even has a filler. It just has a lot of like empty space, as in like it'll just have a scene for like 10 seconds long where this guy just walks. Now, for certain people, they might like that. For me personally, I'm not. So I just I don't like it. I mean, I feel like because I got halfway in. Now that might not sound like a lot. Pause. But I mean, you got to keep in mind this Monogatari series has like a bunch of animes, and that's not even including the novels. The novel, I'm pretty sure, is still ongoing. It has like 21 volumes at least, or like 24. It has an insane amount. So I mean, I'm definitely not reading the novel. But the anime, I might get into watching the anime, like re-watching from where the snake yokai thing, but it's just there's so much empty space and also kind of confusing, but not really. It's just so it's trippy, like I said. Right, another line here. Talking about games this time. I played League of Legends. I know, big surprise, right? In my noob days, like when I was a new player, by the way, holy, is it super hard to get into League of Legends as a new player. Like unless you have somebody to teach you, you're gonna have a hard time. For me personally, like I said, I had no friends. So I had to learn myself. And I still remember my very first game. I was playing Riven. I didn't even know who she was. I'm not a Riven main, by the way. I just happened to play her. It was like one of the free characters on rotation. And I I didn't know what lane to go to because I didn't know what lanes were, and I didn't know how to last hit minions. So what happened is I'm pretty sure my chat was flaming me. Like it was long ago, right? But I'm pretty like if I remember correctly, my chat was flaming me, but I didn't even know because I didn't know what character I was playing. So it was hilarious. Anyway, so this was back, and this is like after I'd say I started looking at watching videos, learning how to play, learning about last hitting, learning about terms, all that, learning about like how to play properly, kind of. And I'd say this is a few weeks maybe, and I no life the hell out of this game because I think it was summer or something. I like wanted to find something to play, or it might also have just should have been COVID as well. I think I don't know. It was one of those. And this guy, he called me a Smurf. Now, keep in mind, like, I haven't played this game for long at the time. And my username had the name noob in it. I'm not gonna say specifically what, because you might find my account. And I say some pretty weird shit on there, because I'm a troll. So I just don't want anybody to know my troll account. But my username had the name noob in it. And this guy thought I was a Smurf, but the guy just sucked ass. And I can say this confidently because I myself was an actual newbie player. Now, it is a little bit, conceit, or was it deceiving that I have the name noob, so you wouldn't expect me to be in like an actual noob, but I was. So, yeah. Nowadays, I'm the type of guy to pretend to be a noob and actually just be a noob. Like that's just what I prefer. Or just from because now if I'm not an actual noob, I'm just a troll. So a fake noob acting like a troll, acting like a noob, I think. A fake smurf, if you will. That's what I was. All right, let's see here. One of the recent novels I've been reading is called God Tier Newbie, or God Tier Noob in like an anomaly novel. And he like transmigrates. He took the train. Spoiler alert if you ever actually read this on NPO Global, but it made me tear up. Okay, it was pretty good. This is one of those stereotypical, like, I wouldn't say savior complex, but he definitely like is a good guy. Now, you might think from like listening to my other videos or just this video in general that I'm like into the Chinese manhwa or just Chinese novel protagonists who are like cold and kind of psychotic. But no, I'm also into the good characters as well. And specifically this one, it doesn't have like too much of that mushy stuff because I don't like it when it has too much mushy stuff. Like if it's like a manhwa or manga, it's fine because like I can just look at the illustrations and it's not too mushy. But when it's just words, like I can't get over it. I like start throwing up, I start gagging because of how like mushy it is. And by mushy, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm talking about like super nice, like everything goes well, like wish fulfillment type novel. I don't like that because it's so fake and it makes me gag. But this one has like just the right amount. and actually, let me get to another point here. It's precisely because I don't like those novels that, even though I don't like my, like, let's say, favorite side character of the protagonist dying, I fully support it. I mean, yeah, it sucks that this character died that I've been rooting for like 250 chapters, and like I put a lot of emotional investment into this guy or girl or whatever. But at the same time, it's character development, okay? Like I don't want it to be all good. I want to have some bad so it highlights the good. Otherwise, if it's all good, then like it's just, it ruins my immersion. I feel like the story's not as real. I mean, yeah, the story's fake. Okay, it's fantasy, no shit. But like, it's just what I prefer. It ruins my immersion. So I prefer it if the immersion was there because of characters dying. All right, another line. As a kid, I would have Netflix on TV while playing a game. I did like the split screen subway on the bottom or on the side, and then like whatever you're watching on the other. I did that even before it was a thing because, and I would watch like a bunch of, kids cartoons. Now, I didn't like fully watch it, because my attention was mostly on the game that I was playing. So what happened is like I had a bunch of videos that I watched, but not really. But at the same time, I didn't want to re-watch the videos. So I ended up just having like videos that are fully watched that I refused to watch, so I had to find other videos, or not videos, like other cartoons or whatever on Netflix. Nowadays, I don't have any other subscription besides Spotify, and even then the Netflix subscription, because I was a kid, I was using so my parents' subscription. So for now, I like I said, I only have Spotify subscription because I feel like subscriptions are basically a scam nowadays, like YouTube Premium or Netflix or whatever. Like I heard that YouTube still has ads on premium, and Netflix has ads as well. You have to get like a premium of the premium, which is just dumb as hell. I don't know how they get away with that, but I mean, they get away with it because people buy it. So I feel like if it's that big of a problem, just don't buy it, and then I feel like our problem would be less. But yeah. All right, another line here. The problem with trying to read everything in one go, like staying up all night, forgetting a lot, reading just to read, not to enjoy. This for me personally, it happened to Demon Slayer. I read the entire thing before it was like super popular. Like Kimetsu no Yaiba, that one, but I forgot most of it except the ending. Spoiler alert, I don't even know how to call, like, do they reincarnate? Like, what even is that? Like, I still don't actually know what happened in the ending. Cause like, yeah, yeah, but like, what are the chances that all the characters somehow are born in the same time period and they look the exact same, right? So you can understand why I say reincarnate, except without their memories. It just kind of like I don't get it. Anyway, and this also happened to Tokyo Ghoul. In one of my other videos, I was ranting about Tokyo Ghoul, where I forced myself to watch all of it, and I ended up now forgetting most of it, a genuine waste of time that I'll never get back. I still remember that one scene in Tokyo Ghoul where he gets tortured because not because like as a kid it was like emotionally stimulating. It was just like the only scene that was cool. Now it's a bit fucked up to say this, but like because the thing is I was a kid, right? So like I don't really, my tastes weren't as refined. So even if it was as mushy and like Japanese protagonisty, like that type of feel that all Japanese protagonists have, where they're like a bunch of bitches and pussies, I still read it. Okay, I mean, I still watched the entire thing. But when he got tortured, that was the only scene where he was like hard, like not in that way, but like in a he's tough type of way, right? But all the other scenes didn't really like. Oh yeah, I also got confused in the middle when they changed seasons. I think I don't remember. It was maybe season 3 to 4 or season 1 to 2, where he changes hairstyle and like forgets his memories or something. No, I don't think he forgets his memories, but like I think the whole art style changed. He looked different. I still remember having to actively like search up and going through the first episode, stopping multiple times in the middle of the first episode because I was like, who the hell is this person? No, it's just the same guy. He just looks completely different. Like I don't know why they would do that. Like why you gotta make that so complicated? Now, of course, maybe it was pretty obvious, but for me personally, I was a kid, so I had a hard time. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe.